and Lini Jewel is still co-favourite with Lasobani, 6-1. Roller Coaster 13-2, Scot Lane 7-1, Lusker, Pillager and Grease Paint all on 9-1. Valley Ross is 10-1, Royal Russ 12-1, Megan's Body, Deep Gale, Sea Captain and Lewis Holmes are 14-1.
And they're being called in for the Ritz Club National Hunt Handicap Chase. Under starters' orders, and they're away. 21 fences to jump this time. Bally Roos, the first to show from Royal Roos, rather, from Harp Alice, and then Bally Ross, and over on the far side Laser Banny, and then Sea Image, Roller Coaster, Grease Paint, Megan's Boy, who was one of the two national entries in the race. Behind him, behind Sea Captain, who I call Sea Image, is Abbey Brigg, and the back marker at the moment is Bobette. As they run down to the second, quite closely grouped. Bally Roos from Royal Roos, rather, from Roller Coaster. Bally Ross on the outside, and then Laser Banny right up with them. Mistake there by Max Garage. Bobette was very slow at it too. Royal Roos at the water. Lands in the lead from Bally Ross. Harp Alice on the wide outside. Laser Banny on the inner, and then comes Roller Coaster. Then Grease Paint. This is the first of the ditches. Royal Roos from Bally Ross. Max Garage was the one that made that bad mistake there. Royal Roos from Bally Ross, Laser Banny and Grease Paint, then Roller Coaster, and Sea Image. On the outside is Scot Lane, behind them Deep Gale and Megan's Boy, and Lewis Holmes and Harp Alice, and Abbey Brigg as they race to the second ditch. Royal Roos landed in the lead from Bally Ross and Laser Banny, and then Grease Paint, and then Roller Coaster, and then Scot Lane. Then Harp Alice on the outside of Lewis Holmes, then Sea Captain, and Sea Captain is Pillager, and then Deep Gale. Bad mistake there by Abbey Brigg. As they run downhill towards the 8th, it's Royal Roos from Bally Ross and Laser Banny and Grease Paint, and then Roller Coaster and Lewis Holmes, and then Harp Alice. And Sea Captain, Deep Gale, whose rider's lost his cap. Behind this group is Lusker. Royal Roos, Bally Ross as they come to the 9th. From Grease Paint, Lewis Holmes, Laser Banny, Deep Gale. Mistake by Lewis Holmes there. Bobette is somewhere behind the remainder, but they're still all standing, all 18. As Royal Roos leads Bally Ross and Grease Paint, followed by Lewis Holmes and Roller Coaster on the inside, and Laser Banny and Sea Captain, and behind them Pillager and Deep Gale, and then comes Megan's Boy, then Greenways and Lusker, and Abbey Brigg. Over the 10th, Royal Roos from Bally Ross, with very close in behind them Grease Paint and Laser Banny and Sea Captain, Lini Jewel and Scot Lane and Megan's Boy, Deep Gale and Lewis Holmes, and Pillager and Greenways. And behind them Abbey Brigg. The back marker is Harp Alice. And Royal Roos, still from Grease Paint. Bally Ross on the inside, Laser Banny, then Megan's Boy, then Sea Captain, then Roller Coaster, then Scot Lane, then Lini Jewel and Pillager and Deep Gale, and Lewis Holmes and Max Garage and Lusker. And behind them Abbey Brigg. Behind Abbey Brigg is Greenways, a gap then to Harp Alice and Bobette. Over the 12th, Royal Roos from Grease Paint second. Third, Laser Banny, 4 Roller Coaster on the inside, then Sea Captain, Scot Lane going well behind the leaders, and then Pillager, and then comes Megan's Boy, and then Deep Gale, and then comes Lini Jewel on the inside. Bally Ross has lost his place altogether, and Abbey Brigg is making a bit of progress from the rear. Royal Roos from Grease Paint, Roller Coaster. Sea Captain, the third ditch this one. Scot Lane going well. Pillager on the inside. Laser Benny on the outside. Leany Duel and Deep Gale very nearly went there. Hit that very hard indeed, and a very good recovery by his pilot, Tommy Ryan, as they come to the 15th. Royal Roos lands in the lead from Grease Paint in second. Then comes Sea Captain, Roller Coaster towards the outside. Laser Benny, Scot Lane still very well in touch. Deep Gale is fighting his way back right into the picture as they come to the final ditch, and Lewis Holmes was a faller at the previous one. Here's the final ditch now. Royal Roos approaches it in the lead, lands in the lead from Grease Paint in second. Then comes Sea Captain, Roller Coaster, Laser Benny, Scot Lane, Deep Gale behind Deep Gale is Leany Duel, behind Leany Duel is Pillager, and then comes Greenways. Hard to see anything else now in the contest. 5 from home. Royal Roos landed in the lead from Grease Paint second. Sea Captain was third. Then comes Scot Lane 4, Roller Coaster 5, very close, and then comes Laser Benny, and then Deep Gale still well in contention behind Deep Gale is Leany Duel, and then Greenways was making ground, and then Pillager. Then there's quite a gap to Lusker, but Lusker is making a bit of ground on this leading group as they approach the 4th from home now. Royal Roos lands in the lead. Royal Roos from Grease Paint, Laser Benny, Deep Gale on the inside, Sea Captain behind Sea Captain, Scot Lane behind Scot Lane is Roller Coaster with Leany Duel, and Greenways is still making progress on the wide outside as they come down now towards the third last. Royal Roos, Grease Paint, Greenways over on the far side, Sea Captain on the near side, just in behind them comes Scot Lane, and over that one it was Grease Paint who landed in the lead. Grease Paint from Royal Roos, then comes Greenways behind Greenways. Scot Lane coming there very strongly now, the horse who recently beat Bregon at Haydock. They're racing round the home turn now in this Ritz Club National Hunt Handicap Chase with 2 fences left to jump, and Greenways has hit the front from Scot Lane and Grease Paint and Royal Roos and Sea Captain as they come down to the second last. Greenways on the near side, Scot Lane going very strongly on the far side. There's very little between the two. Greenways on the near side, Scot Lane on the far side. Greenways lands fractionally in the lead from Scot Lane on the far side. Sea Captain coming to challenge between horses. It's Scot Lane now on the far side from Sea Captain has become the challenger. On the far side, Scot Lane. On the near side, it's Sea Captain. They land almost in unison there. Scot Lane and Sea Captain. Scot Lane, the leader from Sea Captain as they race into the closing stages. It's Scot Lane, Craig Smith from Sea Captain, Aaron Webber, Anthony Webber as they race up towards the line. Scot Lane is going to win it as they come to the line. Scot Lane wins the Ritz Club National Hunt Handicap Chase. Sea Captain is second, and Grease Paint gets up to be third, just ahead of Greenways. Behind them came Pillager and Royal Roos, and then Laser Benny behind. Laser Benny was Leany Duel, and then Roller Coaster behind. Roller Coaster was Lusker, and just racing up the hill now, Bobette. And finally, Deep Gale. So still no rider at the meeting with more than one winner. The winner of the Ritz Club National Hunt Handicap Chase, number 11, Scot